What is up, Nuggets? It's your boy, Killer Pizza, here with a brand new video for you rascals and rapscallions out there. In today's video, I'm very excited to make because I've been waiting to talk about this movie since I watched it for the first time, and that movie being Flesheater, Revenge of the Living Dead from 1988. Now, this film is written, directed, produced, starring, everything else in between. Bill Heinzman, the gentleman on the cover right here, ripping his arm through this naked woman's chest and ripping her heart out. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because he was the original zombie in George Romero's 1968 Night of the Living Dead. And as the story goes, 2 decades later, he thought of a new concept on the origin story of the zombie apocalypse and thought he could reprise the role of this zombie. And that's pretty much where it all came from. And yeah, we're going to get into this movie real quick, but let me just show you this Vinegar Syndrome release real quick. Obviously, the slipcover is amazing. I've been on a real Vinegar Syndrome kick lately. What I really like about their slipcovers, for one, very thick casing. Thicker than Arrow Video or Scream Factory, which is nice. They do a really good job with this. And they have like the bold, you can see the hands kind of popping out, like, I don't know what you would call that, like the bold lettering or print. I just think that's pretty high quality and nice. And so look at that beautiful cover right there. And then we have the red on black on one side, the white on red, and then look at the back of the slip. These are all some of the zombies from the movie. And then take the slip off. Beautiful 4K edition. And it has the reversible slip cover or cover art. When I get a slip that has like the new artwork, I like to put the original artwork on the front. And this is a 4K, but it also has the Blu-ray with it, which it's empty. I'm watching the commentary track today, so I you know, how professional, right? I should have had both copies in here. But anyways, this is a great addition from Vinegar Syndrome. They're doing great things. Tons and tons of special features. I'm not going to read them all out, but there they are if you want to pause it and take a look. So yeah, the 4K, all 4Ks, if anybody didn't know, if you're watching this, you probably do, are region free, but it comes with the Blu-ray as well. Now anyways, to get into this movie, I never heard of this movie before in my life, and I'm a huge zombie movie fan. If you guys want to pull up my zombie movie collection video on my channel, just search it, and I have tons and tons of zombie Blu-rays, but never heard of this one. And I actually picked this up at Astronomicon 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm not sure at this point. It was a little while ago. And I was so excited to pick this up. Great people at Vinegar Syndrome. I really support them, and I think you guys should too. They put out some cool stuff. They put out some of the cheesiest and shittiest movies ever, but you know, those have to be preserved in time. But this isn't one. I came in here for this review ready to defend this movie because this has only been out for a couple of weeks, and I've seen some people talking about it, and so many people are saying like this movie sucks. Oh, for a low budget indie movie. I'm like, you guys are fucking tripping. This movie ruled. Spoiler alert. So let's get right into this plot. It's kind of like the origin story of the zombie apocalypse, which is kind of fun because we've seen that in like Night of the Living Dead and certain other zombie movies, but this goes like before it because in a lot of ways, if you watch the original Night of the Living Dead, the zombies are already from the grave. This shows how how it starts. So let me just give a little plot. We follow, I think, 10 college students, you know, 5 guys, 5 girls, all couples. And it's Halloween night, which I appreciate. I like the scenery. They get driven into this part in the woods by like a guy in a tractor, like it's in the middle of nowhere, buttfuck nowhere, as we say in Michigan. Bumfuck nowhere, whatever. Anyways, they get dropped off, and they're having a little bonfire and hanging out and drinking beers and all that. And the groundskeeper, I guess you would call him, groundskeeper Willie, as we'll call him in this video, he finds like this grave as he's doing some work in the woods, and he digs up the grave of Bill Heinzman zombie. So it's kind of cool in that aspect that we start with just one zombie, and it goes from there. Bill Heinzman quickly awakens from his grave and kills this tractor driver instantly. Groundskeeper Willie's dead. So now he's going to come back, and we have our first zombie. And we cut back to all our kids in this movie, the teenagers or college students or whatever, And though the acting isn't good, that's something a lot of people will obviously critique by saying this is low budget and cheesy. But like, what do you expect? This isn't Citizen Kane or anything. We're watching fucking Flesheaters, so I think people need to relax on that. But I like all the characters. They're just partying, drinking beer. I remember watching this the first time a couple weeks ago, and I counted 5 denim jackets out of the 10 kids. And part of me thought, wardrobe should have switched it up a little bit. And you guys all look the same. But at the same time, I can appreciate 5 denim jackets because I love the 80s. But anyways, so there's not much to this. We get a little character development, but it's kind of just the zombie. Bill Heinzman takes out one girl. Well, he takes out a couple. He takes out about 4 people. We get multiple deaths real quick. 2 of the teenagers get killed pretty quick, and it's this guy's girlfriend that gets bit in the woods when they discover the zombie, and the boyfriend comes running, makes it back to the group of the friends, and they take off and go into this little cabin or shack in the woods that they find and start barricading it up. And this is classic zombie 101, right? And I'm going to give a lot of spoilers, and I apologize for being all over the place with this review. I wrestled last night, and it was a long trip, and I didn't record this video until the day of Sunday. I just wanted to get this out there. But anyways, so we're about 20 minutes into this movie, and we've already seen tons and tons of deaths with great practical effects. And I'm thinking, so they're going to barricade themselves in this house in the first act, 20 minutes in. I'm like, oh, okay, I think classic zombie tropes. So they're going to fight off these zombies for another hour. Like, this movie's going to drag, okay, it's low budget. I'm kind of feeling the feedback I've heard before watching this. Plot twist. No, I'm going to give the spoilers away right now. This zombie and the other zombies that were created from the deaths of Bill Heinzman all come into this cabin, this house, right when I started to really like some of these characters. Just slaughters everybody. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? I've never seen a zombie movie like this before. Everybody's dead. Where do we go from here? 30 minutes into this movie, there's, a dozen deaths? And everything is practical effects. Incredible. That's something to touch on right here. I'll just say the practical effects in this movie are amazing. Maybe that's why I think this is so kick-ass, because I'm a big fan of practical effects. But geez, we get a guy taking a pitchfork through his chest, and when he becomes a zombie, the rest of the movie he's walking around with a broken pitchfork hanging out of his chest. We see a dude just take a hatchet straight through the head. I think the picture was on the back. Yeah, right here, if you can see that. Takes a hatchet straight through the head. All types of neck bites and stuff, and just gore and blood everywhere. These practical effects are unbelievable, worth a watch alone. So I start thinking, where the hell do we go from here? Everybody's dead. So then in the second act, they start introducing like new cast members just to get killed. That's it. Like and they're all pretty good, We get introduced to a family. They're about to go trick-or-treating. The kid's making candy apples. The boy and the little daughter's getting dressed with the mom, is getting ready to take her out trick-or-treating. And then you hear the doorbell ring. And, the mom says, okay, open the door for the trick-or-treaters. 1 piece of candy a piece. She opens the door. It's Bill Heinzman. He picks the little girl up and kills her. Eats her. And the funny part about that, the lady that plays the mom and the little girl, the daughter that gets killed, that's his wife and daughter, apparently. So that's kind of cool that they have that, because like I said, this is an independent film. I believe it was made in the Pittsburgh area, just like all George Romero zombie movies. But it's cool that, a family affair and zombies. But, in that sense, we're killing kids in this movie. I don't prefer to see children die in horror movies, but it's just movies, it's horror. A lot of horror movies don't pull the trigger on that, and that's like realism. That's what would happen. Though I'm talking about realism in a zombie movie, but that's crazy. We keep getting introduced to like new characters, and we have a character upstairs that's like the babysitter. I have to mention for anybody out here, because this is a scene where he grabs this girl's heart and rips it out through her chest. That's another practical effect I didn't mention. These teens are out there fucking in a barn, and he comes and tears this naked woman's heart out. And I mention that because the next scene, we get full frontal nudity, like bush and everything, with this babysitter upstairs in the shower. So I mean, if you want 80s exploitation and horror, like shit, I wasn't complaining. This was I'm a guy that's good looking woman, But we have Bill Heinzman kill her upstairs, still totally naked, ripping her throat out and everything. I'm like, this movie, right after he killed the kid, right after 30 minutes in where they killed a dozen people, there's a zombie killing this movie 5 minutes in. I'm like, okay, this movie is going for it. It's crazy. We get introduced to new characters after that with a man and his wife, and at a farm, he's got to go out and check on the horses, and this guy gets absolutely annihilated, killed. These zombies just rip his face off. He's the guy in the back of this cover, right here. That's disgusting. We have a cop come at one point. He gets a phone call, from the original kids when they were alive in the cabin. He comes to try to help out and see what's going on. He gets killed by all these zombies. His whole face gets ripped off, just like that guy in Miami that got his face bitten off by that guy by bath salts, like unrecognizable. And we get a scene where he's coming back to life, regenerated, where he has absolutely no face. It's not like just skull, but it's just blood and gore, and it's just nasty, nasty. It's amazing. I gotta mention, there's two kids, college kids, a guy and a girl, a couple that survived through this movie. That one of the guys didn't let them into the cabin or whatever. He says it's too late, so they hide out in the cellar, and they're kind of running from place to place to get help. And that's kind of a way we transition and introduce some new characters through the movie, just more victims. So there is that continuity through it, that we have this couple that lasts to the end. But geez, guys, this movie is crazy. I hope you can tell from my excitement. I'm all over the place with this review, which I always am. I'll never write a script for my stuff. It might be more professional, but I like it to come from the heart, from a horror fan for horror fans, But this movie's crazy. We get introduced to a Halloween party this kid's throwing at one point as like new characters that get introduced again. Because the second act is nothing but introducing new cast of characters that just get killed in the most brutal way, like right away. And this is like one of the best like comedy parts of the movie, where this kid's throwing a costume party in a barn with a keg, and he's dressed as Dracula, and he's just wasted. And he's getting wasted because nobody showed up to the party. It's like 10 people. And his girlfriend's like, you don't have to get so drunk just because nobody showed up. And then the two kids that are trying to survive run in and say, there's zombies everywhere. And this guy is so drunk at the party. He's like, yeah, very funny. And when the zombies come into the barn, he's like, nice costume. And he walks up to one of the zombie girls, like, he's like, I want to drink your blood, or says something trying to hit on her. And he just gets ripped apart. Everybody just gets slaughtered here. I think this is actually the scene where the girl gets her heart ripped out. Either way, it's brutal shit. And, yeah, we just keep going, and everybody that gets bit gets infected and becomes a new zombie. And that's me going back to saying how interesting it is to make it like an origin story, because you're seeing, it's like, I don't want to compare it to like COVID, but it's like a virus. That's how quick it's spreading. Everybody's zombies now, and it's kind of cool because everybody that's a zombie now isn't just a random cast member. You recognize everybody that comes back as a zombie as a character you've seen earlier. And even though a lot of these characters are short, they're in the movie a pretty short amount of time, there's a lot of charm to all these characters. They're kind of fun and nice. This movie has a good flow to it. And then yeah, we keep going and going until the third act, just a slaughter until the third act, where it is pretty close, spot on to Night of the Living Dead, where a bunch of hillbillies get rounded up with shotguns and they go and kill all these zombies. They kill most all of them, and that's probably my one critique of the film. The third act does get a little slow, and it's kind of a repeat of Night of the Living Dead. It literally has the same ending where the couple's hiding out, and they're like, we're gonna move to Florida and get away from everything, and they come out, and just like Ben and Night, they both get shot because they were instructed, I don't care if it's your own family, kill them. And at one point they have to. The zombie walks out, and this hillbilly's like, I can't shoot her, that's my daughter. Another guy just blows her head off. This movie's brutal. I love this. Honestly, you guys, I'm a huge zombie movie fan, and this is probably one of my favorite zombie movies of all time at this point. It's in my top 5, probably. I would say Return of the Living Dead 1 and 2, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Shit, I'd probably put this right up there. Overnight, no, Night of the Living Dead 1990 I really like. I digress. If you guys want to talk zombie movies, hit up the comments. I'm all for it. But like I said, I felt like I needed to defend this movie because I've seen people online, and it's cool to have your own opinion, but they were saying, oh, this movie wasn't very good. Da da da. I'm like, it wasn't good in the sense of it's not Oscar worthy, you know. But they didn't know that. You know that going into a movie, The Flesheater. I don't get why so many. There's a reason I don't come on my channel and talk bad about films. There's tons of movies I watch that suck. I just bought Surf 2, Vinegar Syndrome. I watched this Friday night. Not good. But I'm not going to review it because I don't want to talk shit about the movie. Too many people want to be negative. Like, let's talk about what we like. You know, if like what you like, and if you don't like it, whatever, cool. But don't gotta broadcast that negativity. Which, I mean, if you do, whatever. That's your deal. It's not mine. I don't do it. I love this movie for what it was. It was a different take on zombie movies, not in a way of like Resident Evil or Army of the Dead or 30 Days of Night or whatever. It was a traditional zombie movie, the way the zombies were, but it was a different take on it. And as a diehard zombie fan, I really appreciated that. I was sucked into this movie, and what made this the best, I can say the practical effects and kills were absolutely amazing. And they're one after another. It's nonstop. It's so much fun. The characters are pretty fun, even though they get killed quick. You like them, and people talk about like this being an indie film. By the way, the 4K restoration on this is unbelievable. It looks amazing. I'm not sure what it looked like when it first came out, but for an indie film, like it was shot well. The video looked good. You know, cinematography great. Fun characters, a little bit of comedy in there. Great practical effects, especially for the budget. These practical effects are some of the best I've seen in a zombie movie. Like they go for it. They show it. You got the TNA in there, you know, everything you want. But what I would say about this movie, the rewatchability of this movie is of this planet. You know, I literally I watched the commentary track of this 2 days later after I watched the film, and I'm not a guy to repeat movies. And I got it on again right before I did this. I didn't study or take notes, but I just threw it on again in the background, and I absolutely love this film. This is amazing. I adore this movie. I highly suggest anybody check this out. Now, if you're watching this, you know, and you want to check this out and you don't want to spend the money on this, which I highly suggest you do, because go to the Vinegar Syndrome website. If you order this on Amazon, you will not get the slipcover. You have to go to the website to get it. But I don't want to say this because I want you to support the company and the film, but you can watch this for free on YouTube. I did see that, so if you want to check this out. This is a different take on a zombie movie because, like I said, it's even Night of the Living Dead, which I've mentioned a million times over by now, that shows like how the zombie apocalypse starts, which a lot of films do that angle. This does it the same way, but literally shows it from like the very first zombie and then on. And when it's done, you think like, okay, that makes sense. This is where all the zombies come in. This was clearly a passion project by Bill Heinzman. His whole family was in the film, all his friends. And when you listen to the commentary track, you really hear how much they think of this guy in the film. I can't believe I didn't hear about this until now. This is one of the highest suggested movies I want everyone to check out. This movie fucking ruled. Yeah, I could go on and on about this, but it's just well worth a pickup. And yeah, check out Vinegar Syndrome and look at some of their other titles. They do great stuff, as well as like Synapse Films, the shirt I'm wearing right now, Scream Factory, Shout Factory, Arrow Video, 88 Films, Code Red. I could go on and on. I just think support physical media, as you can see behind me, because one day this is going to be gone. And this is a movie, though I said it was free on YouTube, this might not stream other places. You can, you know, people say I stream everything, but I mean, you're not going to fucking find the fucking cockface killer on streaming, which is a movie I own. Like, you know, if you're a fan of cheesy horror and exploitation films and all that fun, you got to get them on DVD or Blu-ray. That's the only way you're going to get them. And I'm so happy Vinegar Syndrome put this movie out because I would have probably never seen it. I can't believe I never heard of this before. But yeah, support your video labels, your movie labels. Keep physical media alive because it's a great, great thing. And I highly suggest you guys checking this movie out. It fucking ruled. This movie was awesome. A roller coaster ride from start to finish. Like I said, people could complain there's not much of a story, but the story's the zombie apocalypse. And even the small amount of story with the characters, I was interested in. The rewatchability on this is crazy. I could put this in right now and rewatch it. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry for a late post, 2 weeks in a row. You know, I normally put my videos out at noon, but I work second shift. We're back on 10-hour shifts, and with working out and training and wrestling, just everything going on. I've just been very tired, but I got to keep the horror talk going. And I appreciate you guys watching this. Like I say all the time, you don't have to like, comment, subscribe, share my shit. I don't want to be that YouTube guy because I don't really care to have 1,000,000,000 subscribers. I'm just appreciative of the people that do watch my stuff because at the end of the day, I just want to talk horror movies. And I like this little community we're building up, and I love talking horror with you guys. So, any questions about this movie, if you've seen it, any comments about it, or any movies you want me to cover or suggest, feel free in the comments, man. Let's fucking talk horror. But other than that, check this damn movie out. Zombies rule. Crazy, by the way, Crazy Walking Dead's about to end, right? I haven't been following it in years, but that's kind of crazy. I need to rewatch that. I digress. Anyways, everybody have a good Sunday. Everybody have a good week. Springtime's in the air. I know I'm from Michigan. It's finally getting nice out again. Everybody enjoy some shit. And throw on a goddamn horror movie today. Blood, guts, gore. I'll check you guys next time.